everyone, today's video I'll be showing you how to do a fun 3D design like on my ring finger using Nailin decals. You can see all the different designs that I have on my nails. I used patterns 202 and 197 on this manicure, and but she does offer quite a few other outline type designs that you can fill in with your favorite gel polish. That's what these designs are meant for. And you can, do colorful designs or more muted designs for something that's a little more elegant. It's certainly up to your imagination. These are two other samples that I have here that I played around with. I did a full coverage nail there on the right. And on this one I just did a partial coverage and did a more muted type design there with the flowers. Now for this one, I'll be using the decal over Le Shot Firefly, the color that I used, a beautiful kind of orange creamsicle color. And over the top of that, I'm going to apply Gelish Top It Off top coat. And the reason for that is it cures with a very slippery tacky layer, which is helpful for maneuvering these decals around because you must apply them in the sticky layer of a gel top coat or a gel color coat. And the slipperier it is after it cures, the better it is to help you kind of maneuver that into place and to help get wrinkles out and just help to get you an overall smooth finish with your decal. So after curing, again, we leave the sticky layer and we're going to take our decal and apply it into that tacky layer. We're going to carefully remove the decal from the backing. These are incredibly thin. They do not have an adhesive back on it. Again, that's the purpose of the sticky layer of the gel polish or top coats, because that's what you're sticking it into. You can use front or back. It doesn't matter as far as the design goes. And again, you can see just how incredibly thin this film is. And they are stretchy. Now you want to keep the stretching to a minimum because you can warp the design and thin out the color, that black color. It'll just kind of start to just distort it too much. So be careful with the stretching. But you can see here with the slipperiness in the tacky layer, you can see what I'm talking about by being able to maneuver that pretty easily around on the nail, and that's what you want. So I'm just going to get this positioned into place and make sure that all of the wrinkles are out, because all of those wrinkles will show once you apply your top coat to this before you start applying your paints. So I'm just using both of my fingers here to give it just a teensy bit of stretch to get it to position where I would like it. And then what I'm going to do is pop this back in the lamp for for about 10 seconds and let that tacky layer kind of set up a little bit further. But you still will need to apply a top coat. Now you can apply a matte if you prefer, but I wanted a shiny top coat like on my manicure here. I wanted the shiny background as well. So I'm applying my Accents No Cleanse top coat. And once you get your top coat on, you'll cure for the recommended time. Now the paints I'm using are the EMI and pasta paints. I'm using the 4 here, on the right hand side there. And I've also using my 0 long brush from Crystal Nails, a very fine detail brush. You will need that to get in some of these tinier areas of any decals that you're using. And I've got some on my palette here already squeezed out of the tubes. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. Now, one thing that I did notice with these EMI paints, if you're going to use them or you have them and that's what you're going to apply, don't overdo it with the thickness of these. I did find that especially if there were any little microscopic bubbles in the gel paint, and once you popped it into the lamp, those bubbles, the gel would actually start to kind of squeeze through that hole after it was starting to cure. And I would end up with these little areas where you could see where it just sort of squeezed out to the side, and then it's cured, and then now it's stuck in place. So be careful. You don't have to do these too thin. You'll still see the 3D look. So what I did there is I basically do a thin layer just to get the outline, just to get that outlined, covered within the outlines. And then if I want it slightly thicker, I'll come in and put a little bit more in the area. And it also helped, especially when you're doing areas that are next to each other and you want to retain that black outline in between, flash curing it for a couple of seconds also helps in that respect. So for instance, in this design, in this part here, when I start to move on to those smaller areas on the top and bottom there, I'm going to flash cure first, a couple of seconds, and then come in and do those smaller areas so we don't have that gel paint kind of bleed into the rest of it. You want it to hold its shape. And this is just the easy part. You just follow within the outlines, trying not to cover up all of the black. I think that's, part of the appeal of the design is you get to see a little bit of that black outline. Now you don't have to use these decals. You can use stamps as well if you can find some, but these decals are made specifically for filling in with the gel paints. So you can see with these smaller areas that that very fine detail brush is kind of a must to make sure that you're not overdoing it in those areas. I just thought for this particular design that it would be fun to do these kind of spring colors. You can do something a little more monochromatic like I showed in the previous sample. So once you get all of your areas painted, that's when you, of course, would go in and do a full cure for the recommended time. The EMI paints require 30 seconds and an LED. What I like about the EMI paints is that they cure without a sticky layer, which is quite nice. All right, so there's our finished design. Once it's out of the lamp, you don't need to do anything further with that. And just quickly showing you how I did the other two nails. I used, again, Firefly 2 coats. I applied 1 coat of the accents, no wipe, because we are going to be adding our precious pigment from Social Claus. I am absolutely in love with this pigment. It's so gorgeous and really should be seen in person to appreciate just how beautiful it is. It's got a gorgeous warm tone and it gives a dimension to your nails and a shine that you just, Unfortunately, it doesn't come across on camera. So you don't need a lot, just basically what I showed there on the silicone tool, maybe just a little bit more. And you're going to squeegee that onto that no wipe surface. And once you get that fully covered, I'm going to take the finger cot that Angela provides in the orders with her pigment. We're going to slip that onto our finger, and then we are going to rub there until we get all of the pigments lying flat and polished to a high shine. And now that's ready to top coat. And again, apply your no wipe top coat. Go easy with the brush. You sort of just want to float that polish over the pigment to make sure that it doesn't pick up and rise up into that top coat. And you'll cure for the recommended time. And there you have the finished nails. You can see how beautiful and mirror that other nail is. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down at the bottom. If you like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe. I do appreciate everybody's support, and until next time, I will see you guys later.